Good evening, Wixman Ray here. It's Sunday, May 17th, 2026, 9:45 p.m. Central Time. Weather's getting pretty active. Got quite a few severe storms going on across the central part of the country. So here we go. We got this big wave out here across the west, and it did bring snow out there to northern Nevada. My wife had snow this morning out in Elko. She said it stuck to the grass a little bit. So our forecast and what the models were showing were correct. So yay for us, right? So we got quite a bit of a shower and even some thunderstorm activity across parts of Colorado, Wyoming, and maybe even back into Utah a little bit. Um, yeah, so and definitely cooler or colder, I should say, across the northern Rockies, northern half of the West, I guess. The only area where it's warm still is across Arizona and New Mexico. So, and then we got this frontal system. We got a cold front running from Minnesota down through Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, and we got some uh, thunderstorms, which some are, or many are severe. There's a couple tornado warnings, I believe, up in west Iowa too. We'll take a look at all that, but yeah, um, good amount of thunderstorms. Then we got a warm front that runs kind of from across Wisconsin over towards northern Michigan. And we got some thunderstorms along that's forming up. Some of them are up into Canada, but across northern Michigan and Wisconsin, we got a few thunderstorms there along that warm front. Yeah, so that's what we got going on there. And there's a little wave here also going through the Great Lakes that's helping to support this complex that's along that warm front. We got another wave moving across Texas. We got a few thunderstorms across the eastern half of Texas here. Yeah, and I don't think any of that was severe, but we'll take a look. Um, this is just clouds out through Louisiana and parts of the southeast. This stuff was thunderstorms out here through Georgia, I think parts of South Carolina, even into northern Florida. I think Florida farther south had some earlier, but they've died out. But yeah, we had that, and that's what the models have been forecasting, that little wave, that little shortwave trough of low pressure that was moving through that area. So that's what's going on in the satellite. This is our infrared since it's getting late at night here. So this is our best view for the nighttime. We do have a nighttime microphysics here. I'll show you that. This is what this looks like. This is mainly good for distinguishing like where lower clouds are, maybe fog and stratus, low stuff, um, like this kind of stuff here, this yellowish stuff, um, especially in the cooler climates, it turns up more yellow. Out over the warmer climates, it shows up a different color, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot. You can kind of see little streaks of it down here. It's more of that light bluish color, but it's kind of hard to distinguish right now because there's not a lot of it showing up. But so anyways, so that's another product us meteorologists use, but it's not really useful for this presentation. So we'll switch it back to our IR. All right, so we'll go into our surface observations and our radar that's overlaid. So, like I said, there's a lot of showery activity. It's in the 40s and 50s back here, even some 30s. Look at that, Ely, Nevada. They said about, I think it's 6,100 feet. They're right around 6,000 foot elevation. They're getting snow down there, which doesn't surprise me. But and the radar doesn't really cover that area down there, so that's why you're not really seeing a whole lot showing up on radar, even though it's snowing there. You saw a little streak showing up there, but that's the radar sits way up here by this station, which is Battle Mountain. So that's a good distance away, and it overshoots all that precipitation. So yeah, looks like some gusty winds across central north and southern Nevada, 30 to 40 miles an hour from the north. Looks like they got some high wind warnings out here across, yeah, parts of southern and central Nevada here. Looks like it's gusting up about 40, 45, almost 50 miles an hour in spots. So some pretty strong winds. Look, I'm seeing a gust out there over almost 70 miles an hour. That's over, what is that location? That's Bishop in California. So, yeah. So they're getting some pretty strong winds. Yeah, and then quite a bit of shower activity out over Utah. I'm sure they're getting some snow over the higher elevations like the Wasatch up here. But yeah, because it's like 48 in Salt Lake City. Cedar City's at 70, so they're on the warm side of the front. Um, yeah, and then that showers and looks like maybe some thunderstorms out in parts of Colorado, especially the eastern side of Wyoming, Colorado. Um, they're chilly up there, 40s and 50s. Quite a bit of shower activity, even some snow up in Great Falls, Montana. So we got some snow falling out there. A little bit of winds out here too, gusting up about 30, 40 miles an hour. So pretty windy with this system in many areas. As you get into New Mexico and Arizona, the only thing I see is winds. It's pretty warm. We're 94 at Phoenix, 83 at Albuquerque. I don't see, oh, there's El Paso there, 90. Yeah, and they're getting some gusts up about 30, 40 miles an hour across New Mexico. Same thing across Arizona. Grand Canyon almost gusting up to 50. So very windy out there with this system. It's very common to have windy conditions in the spring in New Mexico. I grew up with that. It was always windy and dusty out there. We've got a few showers and some, looks like a few thunderstorms out there in parts of Texas near San Antonio and up towards getting close to Austin and points north of there. So looks like they're in the 80s out there. Got some 96s out there, and it's what, 9 o'clock at night, almost 10 o'clock. I can't remember what time zone the West Texas is in. They might be in Central or Mountain Time. I don't remember. Pretty windy across Oklahoma. Look at that, 40, 50 mile an hour winds. That extends all the way up into Kansas, gusting up 50 or higher in some spots. Gusty. It was definitely windy out here around Kansas City. I would say around 40 miles an hour at times. That was most of the day. It looks like it's about the same out there. Even windy all the way up into Nebraska. Got some gusts up about 40 in that range, 40 miles an hour in spots. That even extends over towards Illinois and Indiana a little bit. Not quite as strong out there that far east, but and we got 80s everywhere. So got a few thunderstorms rumbling across Arkansas too. Yeah, there are a couple out there in Mississippi with them clouds. I was wrong. So those clouds are producing some thunderstorms. And then you see all this stuff across northern Florida and Georgia, some scattered areas of thunderstorms. That extends all the way down south. Okay, I guess when I initially looked at it, this hadn't updated, so I guess I should let it update. As you get farther north, look at that. It's very warm. I mean, it's like almost 11 o'clock at night. We're seeing some 80s and 90s back here across this thing. I don't think this thing has this thing not updated here. Let me do something. That doesn't look right for temperatures. There we go. It hadn't updated. Yeah, so it's like 70s and 80s. That was like back during the heat of the afternoon. So let's go back over this. I didn't realize that didn't update. I'm surprised that was in the afternoon for today. Yeah, we still got some showers and thunderstorms out there in parts of Alabama, Georgia, northern Florida. Okay, yeah, that's what I initially saw. There was some stuff in South Florida. It looks like it's dying out. Yeah, and back into Texas, we got some showers and storms. Same general area that I told you earlier, but they've moved a little bit to the east. Um, yeah, but back here it was okay. That is so weird. Okay, anyways, my bad. The west, what I briefed you on the right west, it looks the same. So I don't know what was going on with this thing. I'll have to remember to make sure it's updated. But 70s, got some 80s still popping across the Mid-Atlantic, back through the Ohio Valley and Tennessee, Kentucky area, and up into the Northeast, pretty warm 70s. Got some 50s and 60s farther north, but it's, you know, almost 11 o'clock out there. Got some showers and thunderstorms across northern Michigan along that warm front. A few more isolated across the Wisconsin. Got several storms. Man, look at the southern part, southern Minnesota, northern Iowa. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 7 tornado warnings. These are those spin up type tornadoes. One of these stations had a really strong wind gust. Yeah, gust up to 70. That's 71 knots. That's like 80, 85 miles an hour. Um, if you convert it from knots to miles per hour, it's way up there, man. That's a pretty strong wind gust. So they got some powerful winds. You got some thunderstorms kind of all the way up north. As you get way up in the northern parts, it's in the 40s and just kind of some rain and showers up here. But definitely cold behind it. That cold air is back here, and this cold air is coming to a good part of the East Coast over by Tuesday. So by the middle of the week, Monday and Tuesday, this cold front's going to move east and cool everyone off, like from basically the northern half of the country. We'll be dropping like into the 60s and 70s for highs, even down to like Virginia down towards like Tennessee and, Missouri, Kansas, even into Oklahoma and Texas a little bit. The southeast will stay in the 80s. It looks like this week. That front doesn't quite get that far south, but a nice cool down as we head through Wednesday. By midweek, most everyone will be cooling off, getting this cold air that came in through the west. Not as cold as out here, but definitely cooler. Very pleasant too, less humid air. So yeah, so but yeah, we got a lot of severe thunderstorms along this cold front from Iowa down through southeast Nebraska and Kansas. A lot, almost a continuous line of severe storms for the most part. There's a few breaks where it's not there, but yeah. But yeah, it looks like the tornado threats up here in northern Iowa, southern Minnesota, and that's kind of up near where that warm front is, and where there's a lot more vorticity or spin, especially as you're near the triple point, as they call it, between the cold front and the warm front, and a low pressure. That's kind of what we call the triple point. But you got a warm front kind of running over this area, so yeah, got a lot of good shear that would support tornado formation. So yeah, so watch out for that. Yeah, yeah, even in the 50s back behind the front in Nebraska with some gusts up to 30, 40 miles an hour, it looks like. Yeah, and very warm. It's in the 80s here tonight, low 80s, upper 70s, low 80s, gusty winds, and pretty humid. Dew points are in the 60s and to around 70 on the warm side of this. So there's definitely Gulf moisture now. That's really increased this weekend. All right, so that's our surface obs. Like I told you, yeah, the temperatures out here, yeah, it's 77 in Vegas, so the front's gone through there, 40 in Cedar City, so yeah, so this did update, so I told you wrong. So let's go back over the west again. I mean, in general, the temperatures are still the same. It did warm back up out here, though, in Seattle, Portland, and Medford are in the 60s. They're getting the ridge is starting to build back in behind this to warm it up, at least on the far west here. But very windy conditions across parts of California. Vegas has got a gust around 40, 45 miles an hour. Yeah, so when I said Cedar City was 70, and now they're 40 and they're rain. So definitely seeing snow in the high mountains. So yeah, so this is what's going on now out there. Got some thunderstorms up here in northeast Colorado and into parts of Wyoming there. So and it's 83 in El Paso, 77 in Albuquerque. Still windy out here though, gusting up about 30 in the 30s. Not quite as strong as it was earlier, but yeah. So that front's kind of running. It just moved through Vegas and cooled them down to a nice 77 degrees. So the front's kind of running right through here, through the Four Corners region down towards Vegas. So pretty vigorous front. These are winter storm warnings out here for parts of yeah, parts of Wyoming. So yeah, like I said, if you're a trucker on I-80, man, today into tomorrow, man, watch out for that snow, especially tonight through Monday morning. I don't know if they're closing the highway up there, but be careful out there. It's going to be treacherous and probably some windy conditions too, in places like it always is out there. All right, well, I've been droning on about this for a bit, and I'm sorry about the little hiccup on the timestamp. I thought I had updated it. It looked right, but it was a couple hours behind. It was probably 3 or 4 hours behind, actually. So this is what's going on. So I'm not gonna belabor this too much, but that front right through here, kind of where we saw it, rain and snow back here in the west. Here's that warm front we talked about, and then the stuff around Texas and back in the southeast here. So as we go through the morning, what the heck? All right, come on. So as the morning, this stuff will die down back here. We'll still see a few rogue showers, maybe some isolated thunder and this stuff. You just got a lot of moisture out here and some little weak impulses coming out of the southwest. Um, so some weak energy, so enough to clip off a few isolated, scattered storms south of the cold front. But those storms should be ongoing across this area by Monday morning, across northern Missouri, Iowa, parts of Kansas. Um, and then as we head through the day tomorrow, a new low pressure. So see, this is the one that's out in the west here causing all those winds. So that's going to come out here tomorrow afternoon during the day across Kansas and Nebraska and Oklahoma and Texas. Very windy again. It looks like it's going to be windy out through Kansas, eastern Colorado. I mean, all around this low. Very windy again. Um, the cold front looks like it runs from maybe near Omaha by, what's this, about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and runs right through Kansas again. So, pretty close to where it is now. It doesn't move a lot. That's because what happens is you get this wave and then you get this new wave coming out of the Rockies. So it's just kind of another low pressure forming along the front and kind of backing it a little bit. Um, and then you see, and so this is the remnants. So this is the remnants of the first one. It's kind of moving up into Canada and parts of the Great Lakes. So there'll be some showers and thunderstorms back here through Michigan and Ohio, Indiana, maybe even into New York and Pennsylvania with that first system. But this is where our severe threat will be. It's almost the same area, but just shifted slightly to the south and east, um, from Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, southeast Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, even into North Texas, I think, and then parts of Missouri and maybe Arkansas. Parts of it will get in on it. Illinois, probably, maybe even towards Michigan and Indiana late in the night. Late night. So we'll see how far that goes. But yeah, that's where the front's going to be. So this system moves out. You get a new area, shortwave low pressure coming out of Canada out here. So that'll bring another little system for the northwest, but not quite as strong. And this stuff, it kind of dries up back here, and it's going to slowly warm up across parts of the west as we go through Tuesday and Wednesday back here. So here's the front by Tuesday. It pushes east. The low pressure is already up into Canada, so the strongest dynamics have moved north, but you still have a cold front running from, you know, looks like it already moved through Michigan, so it's moving towards the northeast, up through Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, down through southern Missouri, Arkansas, and down in, through Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas. So this area will be under the threat for Tuesday for severe weather. I think tomorrow is going to be another big day like tonight. So you saw how many we had out there. So I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I was telling you Sunday and Monday I thought were the most severe. We also got a little wave coming out of the southwest into Texas, and that's why you kind of see an enhancement of storms down through this area, Louisiana, Texas, right through this like Arklatex region here. So let's go through Wednesday. So this front's gonna at the energy really starts moving away, and the front kind of weakens, but there's still gonna be some showers and storms from the northeast down through, you know, from Pennsylvania down through West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, into parts of the South down here. And then we got a wave coming out of the Rockies here, so we're seeing this probably be showers and thunderstorms across parts of Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, West Texas, Oklahoma. And you got another little system coming into Montana here. We just keep getting little waves coming. The flow's kind of running like this. So the warmest air will stay like back here through the Pacific Northwest and back through Nevada, maybe parts of Utah and Arizona, California, at least through Wednesday. That's as far as we're gonna go. But yeah, and you still see storms going on across Louisiana, Texas, and the Mississippi and Alabama too. So the South will get in on the action, and that's all the way through Sunday night. Yeah, I see a good complex comes out of the Rockies there into West Texas, and this whole area. So that could be some severe weather out there. They haven't shown anything yet. There could be a little bit down here too in the south, maybe a marginal risk, maybe a slight risk out here as we get closer to the event on Wednesday, but they haven't drawn anything yet. So, all right, I'm tired, so I'm probably going all over the place for you guys, but that's why I messed up earlier. So here's where our severe threat is. Looks pretty good. The tornado threat is kind of right where they're pinging it, so I'm not going to go over that too much more, but that same area along that front, and that should go through late into the night. I think by the morning, a lot of it will have weakened, and most of the severe threat will be gone. Although you can't rule out maybe a couple still isolated severe storms by the morning with these kind of systems. Then we look at that, we get a moderate risk level through parts of you know Kansas into southeast Nebraska, clipping northwest Missouri there, and even enhanced up towards Des Moines, Kansas City, and down through Kansas here. Looks like it's close to Wichita. Even Oklahoma City's in a slight risk. You got St. Louis, Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, or that was that Madison or whatever. Another brain fart. That city north of Chicago. Anyways, yeah, you get the picture. The cities, Wisconsin will be in the severe threat. Okay, let's just say that. I can't think of what the name of that city is right now. I'm having a brain. I'm just tired. So, and yeah, the tornado threat's pretty high right through there too. So even getting close to the Kansas City metro, looks like up towards Omaha, Des Moines. But man, out here in the, towards Topeka, Kansas, and up into these little towns in southeast Nebraska. Yeah, watch out up here in northwest Missouri, southeast or southwest part of Iowa. Yeah, it really looks like they're under the gun. So watch out there tomorrow. That's for Monday. As we go into Tuesday, they're just painting a slight risk, but it extends. I mean, these will probably be late in New York and up for the late Northeast. They'll probably be like after midnight on Tuesday, but or at least Tuesday night sometime. But Michigan all the way down here through Texas, this whole part of the country, will have a risk of severe weather. So, and that's it. They don't have anything drawn up for Wednesday yet. Not enough confidence, but I'm a little concerned about this area. Maybe eastern Colorado, West Texas, Panhandle, Oklahoma, western Kansas, maybe extending a little farther west, and then maybe the stuff, the complex down here in East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, maybe. Keep an eye on that, anyways. So that's my educated guesses there. Yeah, so that's all we've got for today. I appreciate y'all. We're gonna go ahead and wind this thing out and close it down for the night. So appreciate y'all. Last I looked, we still had 52 subscribers, so thank you to you all, and thank you to all of you. Even if you don't subscribe, just for viewing. And if you feel motivated or you want to subscribe, please do it, and please like and tell your friends, family about us. I I want to educate everyone about weather and keep you informed on what's coming your way. I know you all have weather apps, and most of them are pretty good, but sometimes they don't get all their data from the same sources, so you just got to be careful. But the one I recommend that I use that's free is called, let me look it up on my phone. I forgot the name of it now. It is called, where is it? Everything Weather. It's actually developed by, I don't quote me on this, but I thought I was told through some employees of the National Weather Service that a National Weather Service employee or retired National Weather Service employee, former employee, developed this app. That's what I think. But this has all the data from the National Weather Service, which is the most correct, the most accurate, in my opinion, because I work for them, and I'm not biased or anything, but I've seen what other, AccuWeather puts out great products. Weather Channel puts out great products, but I feel like the Weather Service in general puts out superior products, although they don't have the best displays and stuff like the Weather Channel and these other places have, because it's government, so you don't always get the best websites, and they don't even have their own app, but a Weather Service person, as far as I know, um, don't quote me on this, but rumor mill, I guess. What I read is it was a Weather Service employee or former Weather Service employee. So maybe I'll look that up and verify that, and I can report on that tomorrow. But that's what I use. It's a really good app. You can put your favorites on there. It has the radar on there, and you don't have to pay for this one. I mean, you can get some really good apps that have really good radar. I even have radar apps, but because I'm a weather geek. But yeah, if you're into that, you can get all that kind of stuff. You can pay for stuff that's really good. They have some really good stuff out there. I'm not going to recommend anything. I know there's some good ones out there, but yeah, but yeah, maybe if somebody wants to be promoted on my channel, even if I only have 52 subscribers, who knows? Sometimes 100 or 1,000 people look at what I got going on. So, anyways, hey, enough of my babbling for tonight. I appreciate y'all. Wixman Ray out.